Picture this. She barely responds to your messages. When you ask her out, she's busy. She talks to you like you're just another friend, shows zero romantic interest, and treats you like you're completely invisible as a potential partner. You've tried being nicer, more attentive, more available, and somehow she seems even less interested than before. Sound familiar? You're experiencing one of the most frustrating situations a man can face, being completely dismissed by a woman you're attracted to. Most men in this position make the same critical mistake. They try harder, give more attention, and become even more available, thinking that persistence will eventually win her over. Here's the brutal truth. Everything you think you know about attracting uninterested women is wrong. The harder you try to convince her of your worth, the more you confirm her initial assessment that you're not worth her romantic attention. What if I told you that there are specific psychological triggers that can transform complete indifference into genuine longing? What if I told you that the very behaviours you think demonstrate your value are actually destroying any chance of her seeing you as sexually attractive? And what if I told you that understanding these principles could turn you from someone she barely notices into someone she can't stop thinking about? Today, I'm going to reveal the counterintuitive psychology of making women miss you, even when they show zero initial interest. These aren't pick-up artist tricks or manipulation tactics. They're based on fundamental principles of human psychology, attachment theory, and the specific ways female brains process attraction and desire. If you're tired of being ignored, friend-zoned, or treated like you're invisible while watching other men effortlessly capture her attention, pay attention. What you're about to learn will completely revolutionize how you approach women who seem indifferent to your existence. Most men see female indifference as a death sentence for their romantic chances, but they're missing a crucial psychological truth. Indifference is not rejection. It's simply lack of sufficient stimulation to trigger her attraction mechanisms. Women today are drowning in male attention. Every day, dozens of men are messaging them on social media, complimenting their photos, and making themselves available for her validation. In this environment, your normal approach, being nice, attentive, and available, makes you indistinguishable from the crowd. Her indifference isn't personal, it's psychological self-defense. When someone receives too much similar input, their brain automatically filters out the redundant information. You haven't failed as a person, you've simply failed to create a pattern that stands out from the background noise. Human perception works on contrast. We notice things that are different from their surroundings more than things that blend in. When every man is pursuing her with the same strategy, attention, compliments, availability, the man who does the opposite becomes psychologically impossible to ignore. This explains why women often become interested in men who seem uninterested, while remaining indifferent to men who are obviously pursuing them. It's not that they prefer to be treated poorly, it's that different behaviour creates different neural responses. When something is abundant, it has little value. When something is scarce, it becomes precious. Your attention, time, and emotional investment have been abundant in her experience. Therefore, they have no value to her. The solution isn't to provide more of the same. It's to create scarcity where abundance previously existed. Understanding this principle allows you to transform your position from just another admirer into someone whose attention has actual worth. But the scarcity must be authentic, based on genuine options and self-respect rather than artificial game-playing. Here's the first truth that will shock you. The fastest way to make an uninterested woman think about you is to completely disappear from her awareness without explanation or drama. When you've been consistently present in someone's environment, even as background noise, your sudden absence creates a noticeable void in their pattern recognition system. This isn't about her missing your conversations or attention. It's about her brain noticing that a familiar pattern has been disrupted. The withdrawal must be complete and immediate. No explanations, no gradual reduction, no dramatic announcements. Simply stop all forms of contact and interaction. This creates what psychologists call a pattern interrupt, a disruption that forces her conscious mind to notice what changed. Human brains are wired to solve puzzles and complete incomplete patterns. When you disappear without explanation, you create an unsolved mystery that her mind will continuously try to resolve. She'll start wondering why you stopped reaching out, what you're doing, and whether something specific caused your absence. This curiosity isn't the same as romantic interest, but it's the first step toward getting her to think about you as more than just background noise. Once you occupy mental space in her consciousness, you've created the foundation for attraction to develop. Strategic withdrawal simulates rejection, which triggers powerful psychological responses. Even if she wasn't romantically interested in you, the apparent rejection activates the same brain regions associated with physical pain and creates an unconscious drive to restore the previous dynamic. This response is involuntary and occurs regardless of her conscious feelings about you. Her brain interprets your withdrawal as a form of social rejection, which creates discomfort that she'll want to resolve, usually by re-establishing contact, or at least understanding why the rejection occurred. One of the most powerful ways to make an uninterested woman reconsider your worth is to demonstrate that others value what she's been taking for granted. Women often need external validation to recognize internal value. When she sees evidence that other people, especially other women, enjoy your company, seek your attention, or value your presence, it forces her to reconsider her initial assessment of your worth. This works because it bypasses her conscious decision-making and appeals to deeper psychological drives around social proof and competition. If other women find you attractive or interesting, there must be something she missed in her initial evaluation. Post authentic social interactions that include other women without making it obvious or contrived. This could be group activities, work events, or casual social situations where you're naturally interacting with females. The key is authenticity. Forced scenarios feel desperate and backfire. When she sees these interactions, it triggers several psychological responses. Curiosity about what these other women see in you, mild jealousy that other women are experiencing the attention she rejected, and reconsideration of her initial dismissal of your value. Share evidence of an interesting, fulfilling life that doesn't revolve around pursuing her attention. This might include new experiences, achievements, travel, hobbies, or personal growth. The goal is to demonstrate that your life has continued and improved despite her lack of interest. This documentation serves multiple purposes. It shows that you're not sitting around pining for her attention. It demonstrates that you have value that extends beyond her validation, and it creates curiosity about what you're doing and who you're becoming. Perhaps the most counterintuitive strategy is completely eliminating all forms of communication with her, even when she attempts to re-establish contact. Stop liking her social media posts, stop commenting on her content, stop responding to her messages or calls. This complete attention withdrawal creates a stark contrast to your previous behavior and forces her to notice the change. Most men can't maintain this protocol because they interpret any communication from her as a sign that they should re-engage. This is a critical mistake. Her attempts to re-establish contact are often just testing to see if you're still available for her validation, not genuine romantic interest. Women who aren't romantically interested in you often still enjoy the validation and attention you provide. When you completely terminate this validation source, it creates a void in her ego-feeding system that she'll notice immediately. She may reach out with casual messages like your posts occasionally, or try other low-effort methods to restart the validation flow. Responding to these attempts immediately destroys the scarcity you've created and confirms that you're still available for her convenience. Become completely invisible in her digital world. Don't view her social media stories. Don't react to her posts. Don't engage with her content in any way. This digital absence is often more noticeable than physical absence in today's social media-driven world. She'll notice that your name doesn't appear in her story views, that your likes aren't among her post reactions, and that you've essentially vanished from her online validation circle. This absence becomes particularly noticeable when she's used to seeing your engagement consistently. When your strategies begin working and she starts reaching out, how you respond determines whether you've created lasting change or temporary curiosity. When she does reach out, and she will, don't respond immediately. Wait several hours or even a full day before replying. This delay serves multiple psychological functions. It demonstrates that you're not waiting by your phone for her attention. It shows that her communication isn't your top priority, and it maintains the scarcity that triggered her outreach. Most men make the mistake of responding immediately when they see any sign of her interest. This instantly destroys the scarcity and mystery that caused her to reach out in the first place. Keep your responses brief, cordial, but not enthusiastic. Don't match her energy level or show excitement about hearing from her. A simple, friendly response that doesn't invite extended conversation maintains your position while acknowledging her outreach. Avoid asking questions that extend the conversation, sharing details about your life, or showing any indication that you've been thinking about her. The goal is to be polite but unengaged, friendly but not pursuing. Respond as if she's just another person in your social circle, rather than someone you were previously interested in romantically. This emotional detachment demonstrates that you've moved beyond being affected by her approval or disapproval. This detachment isn't coldness or rudeness. It's simply treating her the way you'd treat any casual acquaintance. No special attention, no elevated excitement, no indication that her communication is particularly significant to you. Before I continue revealing these powerful psychological strategies, make sure you hit that like button if this content is exposing patterns you've experienced with uninterested women. Subscribe to the channel because I'm breaking down the exact psychology that transforms indifference into obsession. Your support helps me continue sharing these insights that could completely change how women perceive and pursue you. Creating mild jealousy through authentic social interactions can shift her perception of your value and availability. Engage authentically with other women in your social circle without making it obvious or contrived. This could involve group activities, professional networking, or casual social interactions that naturally include female participants. The key is that these interactions must be genuine rather than performed. Women can sense when male behavior is inauthentic or designed to trigger jealousy. Focus on building real connections and friendships that happen to include women. Post group photos that happen to include attractive women without drawing specific attention to their presence. Tag female friends in posts about activities or events you've shared. Share experiences that naturally demonstrate you have a social life that includes women. These actions shouldn't be obviously designed to create jealousy. Instead, they should be natural documentation of a full social life that happens to include female friendships and interactions. Demonstrate through your social media presence and real-life activities that you have options and opportunities for female attention. This doesn't require actual dating. It simply requires having genuine friendships and social connections with women. When she realizes that other women enjoy your company and seek your attention, it forces her to reconsider why she dismissed you, while others apparently see value in your presence. Creating specific associations between yourself and certain words, experiences, or references ensures that she thinks of you even when you're not around. Develop inside jokes, specific terms, or unique ways of referring to things that become associated exclusively with your interactions. This could be a playful way you reference her interests, a specific term you use for certain situations, or unique observations you make about shared experiences. These personal references create psychological anchors that trigger memories of you when she encounters similar situations. The key is that these references should feel natural and meaningful rather than forced or artificial. Introduce her to new experiences, perspectives, or ways of thinking that become mentally linked to you. This could involve sharing unique music, recommending books or movies, or exposing her to new activities or ideas. When she encounters these things again, they automatically trigger memories of your interaction and the experience of discovering them with you. This creates ongoing psychological presence even when you're physically absent. Create specific associations between yourself and things she encounters regularly. This might involve a signature scent, a particular style of humor, or unique insights about topics she's interested in. The goal is to install memory triggers in her environment so that routine experiences remind her of you and the unique dynamic you created. These triggers work subconsciously to keep you present in her thoughts. Position yourself as someone who expands her knowledge and perspectives rather than someone who seeks her approval. Share insights, skills, or perspectives that genuinely add value to her life. This could involve teaching her something practical, sharing interesting information about topics she's curious about, or offering unique perspectives on subjects she's interested in. The key is that your knowledge sharing should come from genuine expertise or insight, rather than showing off or trying to impress. Women are attracted to men who can expand their world rather than men who need their validation. Engage her mind with challenging ideas, thought-provoking questions, or new ways of thinking about familiar concepts. This intellectual stimulation creates a type of connection that's different from the emotional validation most men provide. When you're no longer available to provide this intellectual engagement, she'll notice its absence because few people in her life offer genuine mental stimulation rather than just seeking her attention. Position yourself as someone who can guide her toward new understanding or skills, rather than someone who needs her approval. This creates a psychological dynamic where you're providing value rather than seeking it. This mentorship positioning is inherently attractive because it demonstrates confidence, competence, and the ability to lead, all traits that trigger female attraction regardless of her initial interest level. Show through your actions and choices that you have a fulfilling life that doesn't depend on her participation or approval. Redirect all the energy you are spending on pursuing her into improving yourself and your own life circumstances. This might involve advancing your career, developing new skills, improving your physical condition, or expanding your social circle. This investment serves dual purposes. It actually makes you more attractive as a person, and it demonstrates that you don't need her validation to feel motivated and successful. Develop genuine passions and goals that consume your time and energy. When you're genuinely excited about your own projects and ambitions, that enthusiasm becomes naturally attractive and makes your attention more valuable. Women are drawn to men who have direction and purpose beyond romantic relationships. When your life has compelling momentum without her involvement, it creates the kind of scarcity that makes your attention worth competing for. Build a rich social life that includes diverse friendships, activities, and experiences. This social expansion naturally creates the conditions that make people miss you. You become less available because you're genuinely busy with fulfilling activities. This expanded social life shouldn't be performed for her benefit. It should be a genuine investment in your own happiness and fulfillment. The resulting confidence and life satisfaction naturally make you more attractive. Transform your psychological position from someone who chases to someone who is worth chasing. Stop thinking of yourself as trying to win her over and start thinking of yourself as evaluating whether she deserves access to your time and energy. This isn't arrogance. It's appropriate self-respect and recognition of your own value. When you genuinely believe that you bring value to any interaction, your behavior naturally becomes less needy and more attractive. You stop seeking validation and start providing value from a position of abundance. Instead of positioning yourself as hoping she'll choose you, position yourself as someone who is selective about who earns your continued attention. This doesn't mean being dismissive or rude. It means having standards and boundaries. When she realizes that your attention isn't automatically guaranteed, it becomes more valuable to her. This shift often transforms indifference into active interest, because scarce things are valued more than abundant things. Develop genuine comfort with whatever happens, whether she develops interest or remains indifferent. This outcome independence allows you to take risks, be authentic, and maintain your standards without the desperation that repels women. When you're truly content with any outcome, you naturally become more attractive because there's no underlying agenda or pressure in your interactions. This authentic confidence is inherently magnetic. After maintaining complete withdrawal, knowing when and how to re-emerge determines whether you've created lasting change or temporary curiosity. The goal is to resurface just as she's beginning to wonder about you, but before she's completely forgotten or moved on. This timing varies based on your previous interaction frequency and her personality type. Generally maintain complete withdrawal for at least 2 to 3 weeks if you were in regular contact, or 4 to 6 weeks if your contact was sporadic. The key is allowing enough time for her to notice and feel your absence without so much time that you become irrelevant. When you do re-emerge, it should be with something of genuine value, an interesting experience to share, a thoughtful observation, or a compelling reason for reconnection. This demonstrates that your absence was productive and purposeful. Avoid explaining your absence or apologizing for not communicating. Simply resume interaction as if the gap was natural and necessary, which implies that you have a full life that operates independently of her attention. Return as an obviously improved version of yourself. This might be through new skills you've developed, enhanced physical condition, expanded social connections, or simply increased confidence and self-assurance. The goal is to show rather than tell. Don't announce your improvements or seek validation for changes you've made. Let your enhanced version speak through your actions, energy, and the natural confidence that comes from genuine self-development. The most crucial aspect of these strategies is ensuring they come from genuine self-improvement, rather than manipulation or performance. Real magnetism comes from genuine confidence, self-respect, and life satisfaction. If you're using these strategies as techniques, while internally remaining needy and validation-seeking, they'll feel contrived and ultimately fail. Focus on actually becoming someone you respect and admire. When your external strategies align with internal transformation, they become authentic expressions of your value rather than performed behaviors. Part of becoming someone worth missing is establishing and maintaining appropriate boundaries. This means not being available whenever she wants attention, not accepting disrespectful treatment, and not compromising your standards for her approval. Healthy boundaries naturally create the scarcity and respect that make people miss you. They also protect your own emotional well-being and prevent you from accepting less than you deserve. Think beyond just making her miss you to building the kind of person and life that naturally attracts high-quality women. The skills and mindset that make one person miss you will make you more attractive to women generally. This long-term perspective prevents you from becoming too invested in any single outcome and helps you maintain the abundance mindset that makes you genuinely attractive. When your strategies work and she begins showing renewed interest, how you handle this response determines whether you've created lasting change or temporary attention. When she starts reaching out more, showing increased interest, or trying to secure your attention, resist the urge to immediately reciprocate at her level. Maintain the same standards and boundaries that created her interest in the first place. Many men make the mistake of reverting to their previous eager behavior the moment they see signs of increased interest. This immediately destroys the scarcity and mystery that generated her attraction. If you choose to increase your investment in the connection, do so gradually and based on her demonstrated actions rather than her words. Match her energy levels rather than exceeding them, and never become more invested than she is. This measured approach maintains the psychological dynamics that created her interest while allowing the connection to develop naturally. It also protects you from reverting to the patterns that made her indifferent initially. Use her renewed interest as confirmation that you have value worth pursuing, not as permission to lower your standards or accept less than you want. If she was indifferent before, she needs to demonstrate genuine interest through consistent actions. Don't be afraid to continue evaluating whether she's worth your time and energy. The mindset that made you attractive initially should remain your operating system, even if her interest increases dramatically. The ultimate truth about making uninterested women miss you is this: the most effective approach is to genuinely become someone worth missing rather than trying to manipulate emotions through tactics alone. When you combine strategic withdrawal with authentic self-improvement, when you create scarcity through genuine abundance in other areas of your life, and when you maintain standards because you truly believe you deserve respect, you create a powerful combination that transforms how women perceive and pursue you. The men who master this approach don't just make one woman miss them. They become the kind of men that high-quality women naturally want to be around. They stop accepting indifference because they generate genuine enthusiasm. Remember, her initial lack of interest isn't a reflection of your worth. It's often just a reflection of your approach. When you understand the psychology behind female attraction and implement these strategies authentically, you can transform indifference into genuine longing. Your value isn't determined by any woman's initial assessment of you. Sometimes the most powerful move is walking away and letting your absence create the curiosity that your presence never could. When you return as an improved version of yourself, with a fuller life and higher standards, you often find that the entire dynamic has shifted in your favour. If this analysis has revealed patterns in your own experiences with uninterested women, smash that like button and subscribe for more content that exposes the psychology behind female attraction and gives you the tools to command interest rather than beg for attention. Share this with other men who need to understand that indifference can become obsession with the right psychological approach. Until next time, remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you accept. Stop accepting indifference when you deserve genuine interest, and watch how quickly women start competing for your attention instead of dismissing it.